Welcome to Currency Shift, the podcast where we showcase and share insights from first, only, and the disruptive. These are people who are creating new lanes and carving new paths for women, people of color, and diversity and inclusion. My name is ShaDé Simone. Let's get started.
Hi guys, this is Myrna Datalis, and today I have the privilege of interviewing our CEO and founder of the Currency Shift podcast, Miss Brittany ShaDé Simone Hardin. Brittany ShaDé Simone Hardin is from the South Side of Chicago and currently residing in Harlem, New York, and her story is a true testament of turning struggle into success. As a multifaceted professional, she has been able to use her experience to create amazing businesses, with her most recent one being this Currency Shift podcast. Now let's learn more about Miss ShaDé Simone and how she created this amazing brand. We have ShaDé Simone in the house.
Hi.
Hey, girl. Okay, so we switched seats today. I'm so excited about this. So, you guys, my name is Myrna Datalis, and I was featured on episode 4. Check it out. I'm really, really happy to be here. Thank you so much for letting me interview you. Mm-hmm. I know everyone wants to know more about you, and I'm here to peel those layers off. But, of course, we need to start off with a toast, my favorite part. We do a little toast to start it off. Clink, clink.
Cheers.
Take a little ship. Guys, that's my favorite part of the podcast, when she goes ship. Pay attention to that, okay? Anyways, we're here because we want to learn more about you, Miss Brittany ShaDé Simone Hardin, and what made you create this amazing podcast, Currency Shift. So I want to start off with you introducing yourself a little bit more in depth and tell us, what brought you to this point. Start from the very beginning.
What do you mean? Like the beginning of?
When you were younger, when you were able to put thoughts together and you realized that you want to be an entrepreneur.
Wow. That's interesting. I see why people go, wow, when I ask them that question. What started the entrepreneurial streak when I was younger? A funny story. So back when I was in elementary school, I used to watch a lot of crime and mafia movies. So I kind of wanted to be a part of that world because I thought, all right, this is where it's at. You get power, money, respect. Mm-hmm. This is before Lil' Kim said it.
I was about to say.
And I just really wanted to be a part of that environment. So when I was younger, I started this little group called MOB. It was mischievous, overachieving because I was a nerd. And then the B word, because we were trying to take it back and kind of redefine it in our own way. And this was before Missy Elliott did it with her song. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And so how we made money, because it was I always had this money mindset. Sorry, stepdad. But we used to take his beers and my mom's wine coolers and put them in these thermos containers, and we'd sell them to the kids.
What'd you call it though?
We didn't really have a name for it. It was just kind of hey, you want juice? And we kind of wink. And, I would sell mine, and then my friends, it was up to them if they wanted to drink it or if they wanted to sell it, however they wanted to do. And then I kind of leveled up in that little area and started selling actual shots, little mini cups. The juice would last longer, which would prevent me from being caught as fast. Mm-hmm. And then it was just kind of interesting because I learned a lot about sales, but I also learned that I was pretty good at just making stuff happen. Whatever type of idea that came to mind, I did it. So with anything that you do, there's always consequences, right? And so you have to be okay with understanding that either you're going to be okay with those consequences or you're going to make a difference or change so that you don't have to have those consequences. My mom, she found my little wad of cash because I kept it hidden because I was saving for something. And my mom found it, and she just looked at me, and I looked at her. It's kind of I don't know if you've ever been caught, and you know you're wrong. Mm-hmm. So you give her that look, what you about to do? You about to beat me? Should I run? Are you just going to let it slide? Because it's just a wad of cash. And my mom, she beat me so bad. It was so bad. Like, my butt, it still throbs when I think about it. Like, I don't know if anybody's, like, had a beating like that, but that beating, she kind of beat me onto the right track. Like, my mom was smart. She was so smart. She recognized that I had an eye for business and opportunity, but also that I was trying to do good, even though I was doing bad, in a sense. And so what she started to do was just put me in positions and around people where they had the money, the power, and the respect, but it was like for the better instead of for the bad. So she started taking me to little youth groups. I became really active in sports, all the little, get you on the right foot type things. And then she introduced me to Oprah. She made me like watch her show when I was little, because it was like, you're seeing a Black woman that's successful, that's on TV, a bigger medium, and the power that she yields on that medium. And so that's what got me interested into media, is just looking at the business side of media, period, and how much money these people were making. And that's what kind of got me into like being on the entrepreneurial path, is from being very, very young and looking at mafia and gang movies.
Where did the shift occur where you realized what you exactly wanted to do? Or how did this even happen with Currency Shift?
I realized what I wanted to do after I learned more about Oprah and her business mindset, and how she went from AM New York, when it was trying to find its voice, to being as successful as it was when I was growing up. So I kind of grew up watching the Oprah Winfrey Show grow and essentially her become who she is today. So that led me to like go to college for it. I majored in mass media communications with a minor in Spanish and psychology, and I worked in the sales part of the school. So I worked on our student media department, so digital media in the student newspaper. And that's how I began to learn how to sell and become really, really good at selling. Because I figured you needed to understand how to communicate. That's what Oprah did well. She communicated very well. And then you need to understand another culture. I chose Spanish because at the time it was like everywhere I went, people were speaking Spanish, and I wanted to learn just another language, because I think you have to learn another language in order to be successful, or just understand another culture, period. And then you have to understand how people think, how they react. So that's why I like psychology. So I figured as long as I have those three, I could do whatever I want in life. And so how did I get to Currency Shift? Is because it's still a part of media, but it's a growing, budding part of media, which is the podcasting industry. It's slated to make a lot of money in the long term, and it's still fresh enough and new enough where people like myself or anybody else can just dive in, as long as they have a good story to tell, a good theme, and a good brand.
Well, talk to me a bit more about that process. Like, what did that look like? I know, me being your friend, I did witness what you went through while creating the Currency Shift podcast, but share with the listeners your process. Like, what challenges were you faced with, and what really put the nail in the coffin to be like, this is it, I'm going to go with it, I'm going to launch it, and it's going to be what it is today?
I don't think I ever put the nail in a coffin and was like, this is it. I think I'm still growing into that, where it's kind of like, oh, you have something that's successful, something that's it's good, it's solid, and that can really take off. I actually spoke with Brianna Peters back in like March about the studio. I did a lot of research on studios in New York, what they were able to offer, what they weren't able to offer, and then the pricing around it. And this studio, Gotham Podcast Studio, had a great pricing, and what they offered was more than what any of the other podcasting studios had to offer. The other part to it was I had to really, really create essentially the brand, what I wanted to say, how I wanted to make people feel, and then how I would want to represent it so that everybody would feel comfortable representing Currency Shift, right? So after that, I really kind of just sat and just thought about what is needed right now. Where is the industry going? And for me, social media is like one of those big things that people still don't take as seriously as I think they should, because they don't see how much money you can make from using your social media in the right way, understanding how to market and brand yourself online, but most important is how to build those relationships online so that they affect you offline as well. And that's how I got the idea. Go ahead.
I'm going to do that thing you do. That was like a little aha moment. So you need to repeat that latter portion of what you just said.
It's a lot of money to be made when you understand how to use social media, but also how you build relationships, because the relationships are the most important part of your online and offline. If you think back to when we had AOL, everybody loved the chat. Why? Because you're building relationships with people that are overseas, people that are like in a different part of the U.S., in a different country. So it gives you that ability to feel connected in such a big world, but it makes it just a small environment for you. So I knew social media was important, but I didn't know how to articulate how important the relationship is along with the social media. And that's where social currency comes into play. Me tapping into you to come on to the show, your episode had over 100 listens within like the first 3 days, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
So get out of here. So that relationship that I have with you, you were more than willing to come on the show, and then more than you willing to tap into your network to have people listen. Thus, it helps me out because now more people that I would have never thought to reach out to now listen to the show.
And what keeps ringing in my ear while I'm hearing you speak is the word community as well. Building those communities will ultimately help build up your social currency.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the whole point of like me even trying to educate people on social currency and those relationships is because when you're in your career or when you're trying to build a business, those relationships matter, right? So if you're tapping into people that are using social media at a far greater scale than you could ever learn how to do, then they'll get your message out. And then in my career, I've tapped into my relationships a lot just to kind of navigate different roles and different industries. So it really is beneficial.
So, well, talk to me about the struggles, through this process and what kept you grounded and not giving up on this. Because you are a serial entrepreneur. You have your book of businesses. I've seen it. But this is
you
the
dry
one.
Snitching, man.
I am, but this is a really great dry snitch because watching you with your book has motivated and inspired me because you always tell me, write it down. And you've written all your businesses down, but this is the one that you felt so empowered and motivated to really push out. And I want you to speak to the listeners about, first of all, why this one? And second of all, what did you go through, right? The internal battles and struggles. And I think there's a third, sorry, not second, but there's a third. What kept you at peace and what kept you, comfortable enough to be like, this is it and I'm going to move forward with it?
All right. So
I said a lot, I know.
Yeah, it's fine. Let me take a step back and discuss the notebook that you're talking about. So I have this little, it's like a dollar store notebook that my friend, Courtney Armstrong, I'm giving the government name.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this notebook, I keep a notebook of ideas. Anytime I get an idea or process, a strategy, I write it down in this notebook. It was given to me in a sense that when you write down your thoughts, when you write down your ideas, it makes it easier for you to plan, and it makes it easier for you to really believe in that idea or that business. And then eventually you'll execute on it. So I've had 3 different business ventures that I've kind of executed on, and I've switched it each time because it didn't really ignite my passion. I didn't really feel fulfilled with any of those, so it didn't feel like it was my purpose, those business ventures. So Currency Shift landed is stuck because I could resonate with it. There's been a lot of times when I've been the first, the only, or the disruptive, and I felt like now there were a lot more first, only, and disruptive. So I wanted to provide a community where we could actually talk about what it was like and how we actually moved into those positions and those levels to become even the first, the only, or disruptive, and how we use social currency to do so. There were a lot of struggles. It was a lot of struggle actually putting my thoughts in a way that I felt like a stranger would understand. It was a lot of struggle with, promoting and advertising the ticket sales for the first event. I thought we were going to be like Ashanti. No shade. You know, she only sold like 24 tickets. And there was a time.
Oh, so bad.
When those ticket sales, I was like, ooh, you know, what is this event going to be like? But then we ended up having close to like 200, if not more, people at the Cecil, thanks to Silicon Harlem. And it was the best night that I've ever had in a while, like being dressed up and going to a party. There are other struggles like booking people, like making sure they actually showed up, like making sure that
they're bought in too.
They're bought into it, but then also that we had the champagne, because I feel like the champagne is just such an important part of the podcast, because it's our way of toasting to the fact that you are here. Mm-hmm. Like, you've made it this far, no matter what your struggle was. You're here. You're in the studio telling your story to the masses. Yeah. I mean, we have people in Sweden that listen to the podcast.
Wow!
Like,
look at you.
I know, girl. Hey,
yes.
You know, so it's a celebration, and I want people to feel like celebrated and inspired, and that's why the events that we'll do when we're off season help to like connect the community. It'll help to like you get to listen to in person and connect with all the people that's been on the show. You get to connect with other people that are aspiring to be FODs or that are FODs. It's just a good like social environment so that everybody can build their social currency.
It's amazing. And I don't want to do a disservice to your story by not mentioning your mother, right? You said something so powerful at the launch as to why the launching of this business was so important for you. Mm-hmm. And without getting too emotional or anything, I want you to share with the listeners who probably weren't able to make the launch party why it was so important for you in October to have that launch party at that specific time, so they can understand the passion and the mission behind Currency Shift. I
know. So at the launch party, I kind of I gave the reason why now, right? Like, why not launch it now? Why get it out, and why push it so hard? It was because one of the things on my mom's list. So back when I was 12, my mom died of colon cancer when she was 36, right? And before she passed away, she knows that I work well when I have outlines and I have a list, right? So even back in elementary, when I was running that little
beer wine cooler business,
I was a hustler.
It just sounds like a stomachache, to be honest.
No, it was one or the other. Either you get the wine cooler
or the beer. Oh, I thought you mixed it together.
Ew,
that's
no.
What I thought. I thought that's what you were saying. I was like, what do you call that?
No,
sorry, I got it.
Yeah, come on. Oh man, so. Like, even back then, I always had a list or outline. You know, that's how she found my plans. So there was no lying around that. Yeah. Money and plans, you know? So she knew that I worked well when I have a list and I have a strategy. So before she passed away, she gave me a list of items to complete, right? A list of things that I had to knock out. And that was my promise to her, that I would complete that list.
By a certain age, or?
No, it was just that it would be completed. You know, I gave a certain age, but she was like, nah. You know, complete
just do it.
Just complete it. And when it's done, it's done. That was when I was 12. It took me 20 years to complete that list. 20 years. And the very last thing that I needed to cross off was start my own media company or my media business. And Currency Shift is like the media business that I started. And I found it and I felt really good. It was the one that I felt spoke most to my purpose and to my passion, which is helping people and teaching people, right? So I was really proud. And then I realized that, wow, this is the last thing on my list, right? Like, imagine working on something for 20 years. You know, that's some stuff, man. That's a long time. So I felt relieved because now I finally, you know, kept my promise to my mom. But then also it was something like, I want everybody to know that it's not about how long it takes you to get something done. It's about just getting it done.
Say it again. Say it again. Somebody needs to write that down. Yep.
It's not about how long it takes you to get it done. It's about getting it done. You know, like to have so many people in that environment, to watch everything kind of fall into place. like to know how much money was invested in a lot of this behind the scenes, it was just like, I could have cried, but, you know, I'm a G, you know, so I didn't cry.
No thug tears? None of that?
No, not that. But it was really refreshing to know that, wow, you know, I did it, you know?
And the fact that people came out to celebrate you. And that speaks a lot about who you are as a person, just with your name being on it. On the strength of that, people were like, oh, Brittany's doing it. I'm going to be there no matter what. But then for them to come and be wowed at exactly what Currency Shift is. I have people to this day still talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And these are people in my circle, right, who you may not even know, who's telling me, oh my God, that episode was so good. And it wasn't just my episode. It's like all of them that they're speaking to and they're leaving reviews on. So that's a true testament of who you are. And I want to congratulate you on finishing up that list. And I'm wondering, are you going to create a new list for yourself?
So yes, I have to create a list for myself because completing that list left a gap, right? So it was kind of like, all right, I finished it. Now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that's been my motivation. That's been my driver. That's been my push since I was 12 was to make sure I knock off everything off that list. And so there's a void now.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to my therapist about this, and this is all transparent. You know, mental health is important. So I do see, you know, a dope therapist right here in New York. And one of the things that we talk about is what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and she talks about stretch yourself and everything. And, you know, I'm thinking about it, but I'm kind of comfortable. You know, you get a little comfortable. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of weird not having anything to do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm so used to being a busybody, going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. So outside of my day job, because I do have a full-time job, it's like, finally, I can go home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it's like just to go home and just sit on your couch?
Yeah.
And just, like, watch trash TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I watched all the episodes of Love and Hip Hop. I don't even like reality TV shows, but I was just watching.
Yeah.
And it just felt really good to like let my hair down and just kick off my shoes and just relax. So now that my relaxing is done,
yeah,
I have to figure out what essentially is next. What do I want to accomplish? What do I want to write off? And it's really interesting because it's something that I have to do for myself. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nobody else helping me with this list like before. It's just truly and honestly, what do I want?
Yeah. So, I mean, you relaxed. And I guess in those relaxing moments by watching trash TV and your cartoons, I'm sure, you found like peace and solitude. But you can't always fall back on yourself during tough times. So when those tough times arise, outside of Brittany, ShaDé, Simone, Hardin, who do you lean on?
I believe in having like a board of directors. So I have a board of directors when it comes to like my career, because I'm constantly and always thinking about career. What do I essentially want to do? What do I want to retire from? Where is the industry shifting? Should I jump out of what I'm doing now and jump into something else? Mm-hmm. That's constantly something that's always on my mind. For things like that, I have my board of directors that I tap into. When it comes to anything like emotional, spiritual, or like stressful outside of the job, I go to my friends. So I have like two different groups of friends. Mm-hmm. I have a group of friends where if I need some real hard hitting, like no sugarcoating, like here's the truth, punch her in your neck type stuff, I have my one group of friends. And then I have my other group of friends where if I just need an ego stroke, I just need a confidence boost. I just need somebody to tell me, hey, it's all good. Mm-hmm. You got this. And I have another group of friends, right? And then I have my sorority sisters, too, that I tap into when I just feel like I need, like, a bigger community.
Which sorority is this?
It's Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Mm. So when I tap into my sorors, that kind of gives me, like, all right. Because you have to understand, like, I have different groups of friends because they got to know me at different levels in my life.
Yeah.
So as you get older, you'll have people that knew you from high school, that knew you from college, that knew you from your professional, and then they know who you are now because you're constantly evolving. And so your friendships evolve. So if I want somebody that's known me since I was like 12, I'll tap into that.
Yeah.
If I want somebody that knows me and understands me from college to now, I'll tap into that. You know, it just depends on the situation.
So when you say board of directors, do those friend groups fall under board of directors, or that's a whole different set of people?
Nah, that's a different set of people. Like my board of directors are like mentors or professionals in my field that I really respect and look up to that are already in the career that I want to strive to be in.
Yeah. I wanted you to elaborate on that because some people are probably like, what board of directors? Like, what does that mean? So that's good that you explained that because a lot of people don't realize that those type of things are important. Like for me, I don't essentially, at least I don't think I do have a board of directors, but I need to kind of analyze it. Maybe I do and I didn't realize it. So I'm happy that you said that. So you did touch on mental health, how you have a therapist, which is great. Outside of your therapist, is there anything else that you do to help with your mental state of mind, to keep you focused and not beating yourself up too much?
Shout out to Burlington Coat Factory. That is now called Burlington.
Retail therapy. I'm telling you, y'all, whenever Brittany tells me I'm at Burlington, I'm like, that girl got some things on her mind. And she gonna be in there for like 2 hours. And these are facts. I will not contact her until she's done. Because we already know she's shopping. Gosh, this is true. This is very true. I'm happy you said that. So that's good. That's a form of therapy. You know, just be mindful of your real currency that you can touch. You know, don't go overboard.
Oh man, it's so bad. Like they know me.
Oh my gosh.
When I go in, you know, like.
Oh my goodness.
But yes, I'll do that, or like I'll treat myself to like a fancy dinner or something like that.
Yeah, and that kind of segues into my next question. Like, how do you celebrate your small wins? You can't count Burlington because you don't go there to celebrate. You go there to de-stress.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not like treating yourself because you did something great. You're like freaking pouring everything out into into your closet to make yourself feel better, which I can understand. But how do you celebrate? I personally know how you celebrate, but people should definitely know.
How I celebrate?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
small wins.
Small wins?
All your wins. How do you celebrate all your wins? Mm-hmm.
It depends. Like sometimes if everything is going like I don't know, like if I'm having like a great day and like the birds are chirping and you know the sun is shining and smiling, it's like a cartoon or something when I'm walking down the street, like a Disney movie.
I just saw the scene in Mary Poppins when everything turned into a cartoon. Remember when the birds are chirping? That's what I just saw when you said that.
Yeah, so if it's like that, I'll go to like get drinks or something like that. I'll go get drinks and just have a good time. In the summer, I really like a rooftop. Like that's my go-to. Like I love rooftops. Outside of that, winter is coming up. Probably a neighborhood bar. And then sometimes I just celebrate by just being grateful.
So what I know about you is that you are a very private person. So it is a lot for you to put yourself on the forefront. And what I really want the listeners to take away from this is the fact that you've made a decision to step outside of yourself and challenge yourself in a sense by making sure that people know you are the face of Currency Shift, because online, on Instagram particularly, you're known as corporate to casual, which is very self-explanatory if you know who Brittany is, because this girl could be very corporate. But let me tell you, when she's out of work, that girl gets so casual, and casual in the sense where if she's going to hit that rooftop up and you're with her, just know you're going to have a great night, you know, and there's nothing corporate that goes into that. So she knows how to separate the two, which I love. So that's a very fitting name. And on corporate to casual, you have over 8,300 followers, which is whoa. Because when I first met you, girl, when you was in the hundreds, look at you. Damn, trying to get where you
I
at.
was private.
You were. Oh, yes. She was private, which was a big issue, guys. But now she's public, which is another testament to her really like opening herself up. And on Currency Shift, she on Instagram, it's Currency Shift Now. Mm-hmm. And she has over 450 followers, and that's growing at a fast pace because people are really learning about the mission of Currency Shift, which is so commendable. So with these followers, right, and this is now essentially your combined social currency, which is allowing you to be an influencer to so many people. How are you managing that? Because this is a new space for you. I can personally say I'm very impressed with what you're doing with your social media marketing and the way you're putting yourself out there. But tell the listeners, like, how are you managing that going from someone that was private to now public?
I actually work with Ad Wizard. That is spectacular from Pretty Ricky.
Oh, Pretty Ricky.
Pretty Ricky. I worked with his company around like strategy when it came to my personal social media, and they just were phenomenal with making sure that everything was in line with me and what I wanted to represent, mm-hmm. and making sure that my voice was being heard on my quotes, because I do all of those. Majority of those quotes are my quotes, my personal quotes. And then the pictures. Like, I'm not really big on selfies and individual pictures, mm-hmm. But I'm getting to a point where it's like, okay.
But I love it. It's great because you see pictures of you, like, from before, and you're like, oh, my God, look at Britt.
I know. So I'm really shy. Like, I don't know where the shyness came from. I really don't know. But when it comes to, like, selfies and, like, doing a lot of things online is really not my thing. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say I'm shy. I think I'm skeptical sometimes. Like, I love social media. I love, put myself out there, but I also understand like the dangers of it too.
The power, yeah.
Not necessarily the power, because the power comes from the revenue to me, but it's about like people being able to like use your photos, like catfish and mm-hmm. stuff, and a lot of the privacy concerns that are out there. So sometimes I have one foot in and one foot out when it comes to social media. And that's okay. And that's okay because I'm still doing it because I understand the benefits outweigh the risk, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's just like with currency, right? When people do stocks and tradings and stuff like that, that's everyone taking a risk.
Yeah.
So with social media and social currency, what you're saying, that makes complete sense because you are taking a risk by making your page public and in hopes that no one screenshots and they just create this brand new page and your name is Shaniqua or something.
It's already happened. Like, I already like had to like catch.
Wow.
I caught like 2. Like,
wow.
Already. Yeah. Like,
oh, you big time, girl. You better change your thing to public figure on corporate to casual.
She lying, guys. I'm not. But how am I managing that? We'll see. 2019. We'll see. Like, I'm still trying to develop an authentic voice mm-hmm. with Currency Shift. Like, I don't want it to sound too professional. I don't want it to sound like too restricted, but I also don't want it to be too loose. You know?
I think you have a good, healthy balance of what you're doing on Currency Shift from my perspective. Mm-hmm. And I'm encouraging everyone to go follow her on Instagram. Just type in Currency Shift and you'll see it pop right up with the beautiful green logo. And you'll see her announcements are very comfortable. Like, you read it and you don't feel like it's tight. It's such a great announcement. Like, guess what today is? Currency Shift Day. Like, it
it's
feels,
not loud and annoying.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like a good balance.
Yeah, it makes me sit at the edge of my seat like I'm waiting for the next post, to be honest. So cool. Great job on that. And what, Spectacular has helped you with your personal page. Mm-hmm. So this is very important. And I'm hoping everyone takes this message that you have to invest in yourself first for anyone else to want to. And those are the necessary steps that you've taken. You didn't just open up your page and make it public and that was it. You literally had a strategy behind it and you're seeing the success of that. So congrats on that. So I want to ask you if you had one advice, because you dropped a couple gems here and I didn't necessarily make you repeat all of them. Hopefully people just take their notes. But if you had one advice to place on a Post-it, not only on your desk, but everyone's desk, what would it say?
I like that everyone's desk. I'm gonna switch that up for season 2.
And
Not on
make
your
sure
desk.
you credit,
Everybody's desk.
Make sure you credit me. Mm-hmm.
Maybe. It's my favorite saying, and this is like something that I came up with in college. So if you know me from UNC Charlotte, shout out to the 49ers, UNC Charlotte. Uh-huh. If you knew me then you are really aware of what quote I'm about to say, but it's don't be a Watt. And it's WOT. Don't be a Watt. And Watt stands for a waste of time or a waste of talent.
Whoa.
I know, that's deep. Let me say that one more time. Don't be a Watt. A waste of time or a waste of talent.
Mind blown. No, seriously, for as long as I've known you, Brittany, how come I've never heard you mention this to me? Wow. No, seriously, like, this is not even an overreaction.
Sorry,
guys.
I shrugged my shoulders. Y'all couldn't see that. But I don't know.
No, but this literally just changed my mindset for what I'm working on for 2019. Thank you so much for dropping that gem. That was, wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now this is your epic speed round. So just going to ask you a couple questions, like quick question or a word, and you have to answer it very quickly, okay?
All right.
What gets you out of bed in the morning? Come on, girl. This is your speed round, you know.
I know, like...
Damn, not a slow round. Speed.
You're so rude. That's tough. What gets me out of bed? I think what's starting to get me out of bed now is just thinking about all those people that invested in me to get here. So not just like my mentors and everything, but everybody who's cheered me on since I was young. You know, like even before when I was young, all of the ancestors that put in work just for us to have these privileges. So that's what gets me out of bed now, is just getting back to that phase of being grateful and thankful.
Nice. Your favorite band?
And it's like I always laugh when people struggle with this. Let's see.
You definitely laughed at me.
My favorite band? I don't know. Okay, so all fairness, I knew about Pretty Ricky. I knew about B2K, you know, back in the day. NSYNC.
And they have a concert coming out, by the way.
I know. Be there. I think they're not really a band, but my favorite, like, label group is, like, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, and Drake.
So Cash Money.
No, they're not Cash Money.
It's not Cash Money?
And that's why I purposely didn't say the name of the label, because I couldn't remember what it was. But
no, they're not Cash. Okay, I don't know, but I know who you're talking about, and I forget what they call themselves. Okay, your favorite drink?
My favorite drink, it's it's Scotch, and I like Dewar's. How do you say it?
Dewar's.
This Dewar's, right? Dewar's. So I really like Dewar's. And I like it with a shot of the Serrano.
Where did this come from? I did not expect you to say that.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at you evolving and stuff.
And those muddled cherries. Yeah.
Yeah, those have to be in my old fashions all the time, muddled cherries.
Yeah.
Role models.
My role models? I have a lot. Like,
pick one. Or two.
You know, the best one that I could say is honestly my role model is my mom. My mom and my stepmom, to be honest with you. Shout outs to my stepmom. Monica Card, hey. She's a huge role model, and there's always been one on the low. So my mom and my stepmom.
Nice. Your favorite luxury item?
Time.
Wow, look at you going all deep. No one expected that.
Got you off guard.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, time. That is truly a luxury. Yeah.
It is. Wow, man. Favorite food?
I like Italian food.
Yeah.
I like oxtails.
Okay, so that's not Italian. That's West Indian. But
I know, like I put a comma.
Oh.
The pause.
Okay.
The verbal pause.
So favorite foods are Italian
foods.
And oxtail.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite country to visit?
I haven't been there yet, but it is my favorite to read about and to learn about because I want to go there. Amsterdam.
Ah, we know why. Best way for you to give back?
Time.
Okay. Retirement place?
I say time is the best thing to give back because
it's luxury. It's a luxury item. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
She made this face. She tried to play me, man.
Only because I was going to say you can't repeat the same answer, but I after really letting it settle in, it made sense. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Favorite retirement place?
Italy. I'm going to retire in Italy. That's been my goal since I was real young.
Yeah.
And if you paid attention on this podcast, you understand why.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Favorite cartoon?
Rick and Morty, Bob's Burgers, and I like Family Guy.
I was gonna say, come on,
Family Guy, but Futurama. There was a night when I was rested.
I do love Futurama,
and I watched a lot of the episodes, and I have love in my heart for Futurama.
Okay. And favorite drama? There's a lot of dramas out here, so girl, good luck on this answer.
My favorite drama, and I spoke about this on the episode before, How to Get Away with Murder.
Yes. Viola and her stumbly walk. She got better this last season, though.
Man, that's a strong walk.
That's a strong walk, but she got so much better. I don't know what they did, but she wasn't stumbling like...
I remember I had a pair of heels, man. I do that walk.
My God, it's like her feet was always hurting. What is happiness to you?
Happiness is peace.
Mm-hmm.
Happiness is just being able to relax and not do anything. That's happiness.
Is it also peace with yourself? Or just the other one that you were explaining?
No.
Okay, sorry. I had a moment, guys. Sorry. So, is there anything that I didn't touch upon that you would like the listeners to know?
I think it's important to have mentors in your life and people to be in your life that are able to redirect you. Because if it wasn't for my mom redirecting me, I'd probably be on a totally different path. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important for people to actually volunteer, to mentor, and to give back and give their time. Because you never know who's watching and who is influenced by your actions and your nonverbals. So I think that's really important.
That's great. That was great. I hope everyone took notes on that. Thank you so much again for letting me have the privilege of interviewing you. I learned so much about you, and I felt like I know you already, but I really know different levels.
From one of my favorite MTV shows. You may think you know, but you really
don't. No idea, right?
Yeah, no idea. You have no idea.
No idea.
You got to put the neck and the finger in it. Yeah.
Okay, no idea. I'm doing the neck and finger, guys. Follow Brittany on Instagram at corporate2 casual. And for Currency Shift is at Currency Shift Now. And again, thank you so much. Happy holidays, Happy New Year. And I can't wait to see what goes on with Currency Shift next year. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the conversation. To learn more about Currency Shift, go to currencyshiftnow.com. If you feel as though you fit the criteria as the first, the only, or the disruptive, send us an email, info@currencyshiftnow.com. Until next time, keep pushing, stay motivated, and stay encouraged.